Gamers, CryEngine has decided to bless us with a brand new PlayStation showcase on May 24th. Now this isn't a state of play, oh no, this is where Sony brings out the big guns and shows off the goods. And in this video, I'll be sharing 15 big predictions for the showcase. Now some of these will be predictable and some will be less predictable. Now this won't be all JRPG related, but of course we'll have plenty because this is the gaming shelf. Now to start off, we have Spider-Man 2 gameplay and release date. It's been almost 2 years since it was announced, and we've pretty much had no updates as far as trailers or anything like that. Through all the different rumor mills and the way that Insomniac has been talking, it seems like they're fairly confident it will release this year. Plus, the voice actor for Venom may have inadvertently let it slip that he's going on a press tour in August, so this seems to line up with a September release date. But what's interesting, for a game that's coming out so soon, there's a lot that we still don't know. Are they expanding where in New York we'll be able to travel? Is it going to be co-op, or are we just going to be swapping between Peter and Miles? Now, I gotta say, I enjoyed the first game a lot. In fact, I got the Platinum Trophy and then even replayed it on PlayStation 5. There's a lot to share about this game, and I'm excited to see what they have to say. Now next is this multiplayer game that Naughty Dog has been working on in the Last of Us universe for several years. Now they've teased some sort of concept art, it seems to be set in San Francisco, but we still know very little about it. Is this some sort of expanded version of the Last of Us multiplayer? Is it something more persistent, maybe a battle royale? Will it have some kind of single player component? Well, it's been 3 years since The Last of Us Part 2 released, and it's definitely time for Naughty Dog to show us what they've been working on. And you know what's crazy? That multiplayer mode in the original Last of Us is really good, and in fact my roommate still plays it today on PlayStation 4, so clearly that gameplay has legs, so I'm really curious to see what Naughty Dog has to share here. Now, it might be a little early for this announcement, but after looking at Sony's roster of studios and who could possibly announce a new game next, a Ghost of Tsushima 2 announcement sounded about right. Now again, I loved the original game. I love the time period it was set in Japan, and exploring this giant open world was just incredible. I love the different gameplay styles you could use, whether it be stealth, you could play as a ninja, or head-on as a samurai, and again, I got the Platinum Trophy here. And in this new game, I'm excited to see what they expand on, what new locations we go to, what new tools they give us, what new armor sets we can collect, and all kinds of other different things. And with the power of PlayStation 5, I feel like this game could be huge. Ben's studio, probably best known for Days Gone at this point, and also the creators of Siphon Filter, have been teasing a lot about what's next for them on Twitter, and PlayStation's official Twitter account even retweeted it, so I think this is a safe lock for this presentation. Sadly, it seems like they won't be doing Days Gone 2. A lot of the senior leadership left the studio after apparently being tasked to work on a new Uncharted game and not being allowed to pursue a Days Gone sequel. That all said, it's been 4 years since Days Gone, so they should have something to show by now, but what could it be? I imagine they're going to try to use their knowledge from Days Gone and creating a open world game, so I imagine we're probably going to get another third-person open world game, but again, at this point we really don't know anything, so I'll be curious to see what they have to show. Now, I know a remake that a lot of people have been excited for, Silent Hill 2, is a game that I think will be here. Not only will we see lots of gameplay, but I think we're going to get a release date. In fact, a few months back, it was reported that the development of the game was almost complete, so it would line up that we could get a date and some gameplay here. Now, I'll be curious to see if they change anything with this game or expand upon the game like Capcom have done with the Resident Evil remakes, or if it's just going to be ultra faithful. Now, how's this for a coincidence? Halloween lands on a Tuesday this year, which is when most games release, so I'm just going to call it now, Silent Hill 2, Halloween 2023, I'll be there. Now, one game I talked about in a recent video, and I think will be here at this showcase, is Stellar Blade. Now, their latest trailer gave us a 2023 release window, and we're starting to run out of time, so I think this is where it gets dated. Everything that they've shown about this game so far looks incredible, from its really slick visual style to its super cool combat. Now, I gotta be honest, I have a soft spot for South Korea, as I lived there for a year teaching English, so it warms my heart to see a single-player, story-driven game from South Korea get some shine on a big stage like this, especially since Sony is publishing this game now. I would say it's a safe bet to lock this one in. Now, one game that some people may have forgotten about, but I think looks really cool, is Rise of the Ronin. This is an open-world action RPG from Team Ninja, the team that made Nioh. Now, the setting and gameplay seem to be very similar to Ghost of Tsushima, and Sony might risk some oversaturation here, but for me, I can't get enough of this, so just keep it coming. Now, I remember reading how blown away Japanese developers were with how authentic and respectful Ghost of Tsushima was to that culture, so I'm excited to see a Japanese team's take on basically that same type of game. The initial reveal trailer last year said 2024, so it might be a little too early for a date, but I feel like we could definitely get some more gameplay here. Do you guys remember a game called Pragmata? I barely do. It was revealed back in 2020 and we've heard absolutely nothing since. And what's funny is that it said in the initial reveal trailer that it would release in 2022, and obviously we're way past that, so I think it's time for the game to resurface and maybe get a release date. Now, I genuinely have no idea what kind of game this is because that first trailer is all we have and it seems to be just more in-engine, pre-rendered, nothing real gameplay, but the vibe I get from it is so cool. Seemingly something set in the future, very post-apocalyptic. You have this guy in this spacesuit and this girl, and then you go to the moon. I don't know what's going on, but it looks cool. Plus, Capcom has kind of been on fire lately, so whatever they do, I'm excited about, especially a brand new franchise. Now for this next one, I didn't initially want to put it on here, but the wind was pushing me to do it. I'll just see myself out. Now Dragon's Dogma 2 was announced almost exactly 1 year ago on the 10th anniversary of the franchise, and the director for this game also directed Devil May Cry 5, which came out in 2019, about 4 years ago, so it seems to be lining up for this to be a gameplay reveal and maybe even a release date. I really dug a lot of what Dragon's Dogma did, from the combat to the ability to climb out monsters and all the exploration. In fact, I bought it twice, however, I never ended up finishing it either time. I think I stopped at the same spot both times as I feel like the game got a little too directionless and there wasn't a lot of narrative thrust. I hope they continue to expand on the excellent gameplay mechanics, but also craft a better story and a better way to pull you through the game. Open world games have come a long way in the 10 plus years since the original game's release, so I'm excited to see what Capcom have learned and implemented into this new one. Now, I gotta be honest, for Metal Gear Solid 3, I don't particularly care about this one, but the rumor mill has been absolutely on fire with it, so I'd be dumb not to mention it. There's lots of indications that Konami is set for a huge comeback, especially with all the collections they've been releasing lately, so this could be the first big step in that direction. Now, the one big question is, who's gonna be making this remake? Is it a team at Konami internally? Is it Bluepoint? Who knows? It's been a few years since Demon's Souls, which Bluepoint developed, so they could be up to bat next with this one. Now, despite this being Metal Gear Solid 3, it's actually the first mainline game chronologically speaking, so it makes sense that they would start here. Now, to be honest, I don't know much about Metal Gear Solid. The only Metal Gear game I've ever played was Rising Revengeance, which is like a total spin-off, so I don't particularly care about this announcement, but I know a lot of people do, so I hope this is something you can all get hyped up about. Now, one remake I can get hyped up about is Bloodborne. I absolutely love this game, mainly for its moody atmosphere. I just loved walking around and fighting all these different crazy looking monsters. And I also loved its more offensive focused take on the Dark Souls style of combat. If you get hit, there's like a small window where you can go back and attack enemies and get your health back, which encourages a more aggressive play style. Now, this Bloodborne remake, remaster, whatever it ends up being, has been rumored for so long now, but I feel it's time to get this one out. People have been begging for this for so long since the original Bloodborne, and it's a shame that such an incredible game is relegated to a 30 FPS plebeian experience. Now, like I said, this may end up just being a remaster, but if we do get a full-on remake, then hey, I'll take it. Alright, it's time to finally dive headfirst into the JRPG, starting with Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Alright, Cygames, what are we doing here? It's been 7 years since this game was announced. Just give us the goods already. At this point, I don't know what else to say that I haven't already said in a half a dozen videos. It's time to stop screwing around and just give us a release date so we can all move on with our lives. Oh yeah. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. My body is ready. Square Enix did say next winter, but I don't think anyone really believes deep down that this is going to come out this year, but certainly within the next 12 months. Now, I just can't wait to see what some of these upcoming locations look like Costa del Sol, Junon Harbor, and the Gold Saucer. This next set of towns might be the most nostalgic ones of any game I've ever played, so I'm absolutely salivating at the possibilities. Also, is it going to be full open world, wide linear like Dragon Quest XI, or something else? What other new gameplay mechanics are they going to introduce? What other new mini games are they going to add? No matter what they end up doing, I cannot wait to see what Square has in store for us with this one. Oh, and the remake train doesn't stop here. I think it might finally be time for that fabled Final Fantasy IX remake announcement. Now, if you haven't been following along and I'm wondering what the heck I'm talking about, allow me to explain. A few years back, there was a huge leak from Nvidia, and almost every game that leaked from that list has turned out to be true, and one of them was a Final Fantasy IX remake. At the time, it seemed so random and out of nowhere, especially considering that they would skip Final Fantasy VIII, but so many of the games that seemed random on that list as well, like Kingdom Hearts 4, ended up becoming true. But there's also been a Final Fantasy IX cartoon in development for several years, so this seems to kind of line up. Now, this might be way too much Final Fantasy for one showcase, especially with Final Fantasy XVI right around the corner, but hey, this is dream season, so let's dream big. Now, we've talked about some great looking games, but there's one game left, one that stands above them all, and one I've been hoping to see for years, yet remains ever so elusive. Friends, it is time for Final Fantasy Tactics to come back. The Nvidia leak said a remaster, and if that's all we get, I'm fine with it, but it's dream season, so let's dream big. How about an HD 2D remake? What about a collection with the advanced games? Or hell, how about a sequel? Like a real proper sequel that apparently they were actually making and canceled, and oh my god, it looks so good, why? This masterpiece deserves a proper remaster and to be available on all modern platforms. Now, I'll be streaming the showcase next week in full clown makeup, fully expecting this not to happen, but if it does, this will be the happiest little clown you'll ever see. Now, these are all games that aren't even out yet and we have to keep waiting for, but if you want to hear about an awesome action RPG that you can go play right now for free, check out this video right here. And special thanks to Reset Switch, Tyler Kuzawa, and the Miyazaki Man for supporting me over on Patreon. To get exclusive videos and other cool perks, consider supporting me over on patreon.com/thegamingshelf. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.